I am an African entrepreneur. This is my point of view. This is my position and overlook of business in my continent. This is my African perspective on Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Hello everyone, and my name is Timilehin Olaiwola, and this is my African perspective. For me, I would not want to be too negative about Africa. So talking about the positives, like we all know, Africa is bedeviled by so many issues, ranging from cultural to natural resource issues, to legal issues, to religious issues, to mention but a few. Above all, corruption. But I would not want to dwell much on that, but I would look at the positives. I would look at the current developments in East Africa and maybe South Africa and a few other African countries like Botswana. And I would just like to say that there's beauty in Africa in terms of the culture and the people. First of all, what makes a nation? I would say it's the people. And I would like to look at countries that are doing positively well, and I would say what has helped them so far in Africa, such countries, is basically institutions. What are institutions? Institutions can either be physical or non-physical. Talking about the physical part, is what we can see with how our people behave, our culture, our norms, and things like that. So when I talk about the non-physical part, I look out from how did our societies originate. Looking at, for example, in Nigeria, we have what we call social embeddedness. Looking at our local chiefs, local heads, what they passed into those on the local level, the values, the norms, and things like that. Looking at those we call them the baby boomers. Looking at those values, these characters that have been built over time, and you find out that that's really, really, really lacking today in so many African countries that are failing. But those that have survived, if you look at the social embeddedness and their awareness of their culture and themselves as individuals, you see that they are growing in that. So look at Ethiopia. Ethiopia, for example, has been known with a culture of excellence. Looking at them now, they have like one of the most developed shoe industry. They have like the airline industry there is booming. You know, SMEs generally are surviving there, and you find out that the cultural and social embeddedness there is very strong, in the sense that there is no too much division in the ethnicity, in the ethnic groups. So you have maybe 4 major ethnic groups, and the others have been grouped into maybe another major ethnic group, and you see that there's always a succession plan. So after this ethnic groups lead, another one comes in, so that there's this continuous rotation. And with that, you see that the nations have been developing based on this good succession plan. So this ethnic groups knows that, if this ethnic groups leaves the government now, the next one that's coming in would be able to do something good. And you see that trend has been helping countries like Botswana, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Kenya, because they have fewer ethnic groups and they've been able to appreciate the diversity, and they've been able to create a succession plan where they pass on from one generation to the other. And so that has made institutions really strong for them. And you see that there is always this partnership between the government and the private individuals there, such that this corporation then attracts foreign investment, and you see that these economies are booming. So for me, my African perspective is not totally negative. I would say is more positive, because we are seeing so many African countries doing well. And we've seen Rwanda, for example. Anybody that wants to travel in Africa today wants to go with Rwanda Air. It's very cheap, it's very affordable. We can see what Paul Kagame is doing, for example. It's trying to make Rwanda an ICT hub. You have Kenya, and you see all these things working because, there's leadership in place, social embeddedness, institutions are really strong, and they're seeing how, there's a good succession plan. So there's continuity in in government, in institutions, and that's what's making it work. So for me, my African perspective is positive, and I believe that institutions are getting stronger, and this is what Africa is all about. And that was my African perspective. Thank you.